Don't you do it! Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him?
New video out of Charlotte may paint a different picture of what happened in a deadly police shooting. But first,
we're getting multiple calls. They believe that shots have been fired.
A deadly night at a mall in Washington State. Several people shot after a man opens fire inside a store. Brandon Pope here with breaking news this morning. 5 people are dead after a gunman opened fire inside a Washington State mall. The shooting happened last night at the Cascade Mall in Burlington. That's about an hour north of Seattle. Witnesses told our Seattle affiliate the shooter walked into the Macy's and started firing. 4 of the victims were found inside the store. A 5th was taken to the hospital, but later died.
I heard about 1 and then 2, and then that's when I turned around, and then that's when round started going 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it wasn't all at once. It was more like a shot, and then 2 seconds later another shot. So crazy, crazy.
People inside the mall were taken to a nearby church to be interviewed and reunite with family. Stay with ABC 57 News throughout the morning. We're going to bring you the latest. Now changing over to the weather. It's starting to feel a bit more like fall here in Michiana. Shay Sorensen has you covered with a look at your forecast. Hey Shay, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brandon. Well, we're not going to have really a huge cool down until this upcoming work week, so fall is right around the corner. Still today, though, we will be above average. Usually this time of year, high temps should be around 71 degrees. So 75 for the high today, and good news is we're starting off mostly cloudy, but we're also starting off dry, and then by the afternoon we'll turn partly sunny, so little bits of sunshine in the forecast, especially this afternoon. So perfect day to be outside and a perfect day for football as well. Visibility looking good pretty much all across the board except for Knox in Stark County. We are down to 3 miles, so just worth pointing it out there. If fog has slowed you down on past mornings, just be sure to drive carefully this morning. And temps in the 60s and 50s, your full forecast coming up in the next 8 minutes.
And you heard Shay say it, great day for football, and happening now. Fan Fest is underway at Notre Dame, and our Saturday kickoff special is back again this week. Let's toss it out to Notre Dame, where Saturday kickoff anchor Allison Hayes has a preview. Hey, Allison, I heard you sat down with a legendary coach.
That's right, I did, Brandon. Thank you so much. We are getting everything all set up here at Notre Dame's Fan Fest. The stages are being built, all of the activities are being brought in, and it's going to be pretty fun in here again today. 10 to noon, of course, Saturday kickoff, and we have a jam-packed show for you once again. You know what we like to do each week? We like to do those X's and O's. We like to break it down, what Notre Dame needs to do to get the win tonight, and of course they do need a win over Duke today to get back on track, but we're also going to give you some of those special stories that you're not going to find anywhere else. We go one-on-one with Ara Parseghian. Of course, he is a legendary coach here at Notre Dame, won 2 national championships, and he is so beloved by everyone, 93 years old, and I got to sit down with him and talk about his career, about the past, about the present, and of course, the future with Coach Brian Kelly. So take a look.
From the minute Ara Parseghian stepped foot on Notre Dame's campus in 1964, the mood shifted in South Bend. You see, in the decade that came before him, the Golden Dome had lost a bit of its luster. The Irish lost more games than they won and went through 3 coaches during that span. By 1963, Hugh DeVore had led the Irish to a 2-7 record, and fans begged for change. That's when Ara Parseghian arrived, the fiery coach who had beaten Notre Dame 4 times when he was at Northwestern.
I remember the games we've lost, just like that first year when we missed winning the national championship in the last minute and 33 seconds because of some officials' miscalls. I can't do anything about that, but we have to suffer through that part of it.
Remembers that was so long ago, 50 plus years ago, and he remembers that like it was yesterday. So you'll want to hear more from what Ara has to say coming up in Saturday kickoff, and we have so much more as well. We have a live interview with Brian Kelly's wife, Pocky Kelly. She's going to be here on our stage. We have former Notre Dame quarterback and fan favorite Tony Rice here on our stage. We have that and so much more, so stick around because we'll have another preview coming up at 9:30, and then of course we'll be live here for Saturday kickoff at 10 o'clock. Brandon.
Right, thanks, Allison. Covering America now, it was a 4th night of protest in Charlotte as the investigation continues into the police shooting death of Keith Lamont Scott. Now more anger after his family releases video taken by Scott's wife just moments before that shooting. Heather Wallaga has more.
Fight back. Stand up, fight back. As demonstrators filled the streets of Charlotte for a fourth straight night, protesting the police shooting of Keith Lamont Scott.
He has no weapon. Don't shoot him.
We now have our first look at Scott's last moments.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He didn't do anything.
This cell phone video taken by his wife and released by his family.
He doesn't have a gun. He has a TBI. He's not going to do anything to you guys. He just took his medicine.
Rakia Scott pleading with her husband to get out of his truck.
Keith, get out the car. Keith, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Keith, don't you do it.
Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him?
His wife in shock as her husband lies mortally wounded.
That's okay. Did y'all call the police? Did y'all call an ambulance?
Police say Scott was armed and that this image shows the gun they recovered. But this image from another angle shows what may be the same object far from the body. Charlotte's police chief resisting calls to release police video of the shooting.
If I were to put it out indiscriminately and it doesn't give you good context, it can inflame the situation.
The State Bureau of Investigation says Charlotte police do have the authority to release the video. They say local officials are actively discussing whether or not they will release it. Heather Wallaga, ABC News, Charlotte.
And in an ABC 57 crime watch, 2 people are recovering this morning after being shot on South Bend's Northwest neighborhood. Officers responded to the 1100th block of Cleveland Avenue just after 4:30 yesterday afternoon. A neighbor told us he was working in his basement when he heard a couple of shots, followed by silence, then a couple more. We're told the victims are a man and a woman in their early 30s, momentarily staying at the home.
I don't know. It's hard. To be honest with you, it's hard because you never know what's going to happen when they leave school.
Did you hear that? Shots fired just minutes after Benton Harbor High's game ended against Godwin Heights in Wyoming, Michigan. Wood TV reports the shots came from the parking lot as fans exited the game. Fans and players ran back into the stadium and toward the locker rooms, and after about 10 minutes, the all clear was given. Police say there were no injuries. And now to an ABC 57 crime watch. 2 alleged serial robbers are behind bars, and it took the teamwork of numerous law enforcement agencies to get them there. Police say a couple robbed a LaPorte County convenience store and then led police on a chase through several counties. The alleged robbers went into St. Joe County and up into Berrien County before turning around to go across the state line again. They were eventually busted at a South Bend gas station.
I tell you, another thing that helped was the witness. He was able to get a good description of the vehicle, knew that we were looking for a white female driving and a black male passenger, along with a partial license plate. All those factors came together for a very successful and very quick resolution.
A gas station employee was injured in one of the robberies. He had to get a couple stitches after being pistol whipped, but he's now doing okay. Indiana State Police are stepping up in the fight against drug abuse with new prevention programs. ABC 57's Julia Palazzo is live in our newsroom this morning with more. Julia, good morning.
Good morning, Brandon. Well, the amount of drug overdoses in the state of Indiana is at an all-time high. Now the Department of Justice has stepped in and has awarded the Indiana State Police with nearly $1 million to fight against heroin and methamphetamine problems in the state. Now, Indiana is one of 11 states to get money and one of 3 states to receive money from both the anti-heroin and anti-methamphetamine programs. This money will help the state hire more personnel to stop the drug abuse and shut down meth labs. Officers will also work in a safer environment. When they arrive on scene, they will be able to avoid opening, touching, or exposing any of the drugs they are dealing with. A portion of the money will also help underserved areas in the state. And on ABC 57 News at 9:30, they weren't just granted money, they're also getting more medical supplies to use in any case of an emergency. I'll have more details on that in the next half hour. Live in the newsroom, Julia Palazzo, ABC 57 News.
The time is now 9:09 this morning, and a bill that may have brought some justice to victims of 9/11 stopped cold. But the fight to allow families to sue Saudi Arabia is not over just yet. Why supporters say they think they could make history next week.
And today we will still be above average in the mid-70s. We'll be partly sunny by the afternoon. So overall, a beautiful day to be outside, but we do have rain in the forecast this weekend. Your forecast coming up after the break.